The name of the movie is Camp X-Ray. The story of the film begins with the September 11, 2001 incident when the International Trade Center towers were bombed. We go to the house of a person called Ali Amir, who is Iraqi and has come from Iraq and resides in Germany. Ali goes to pray, but suddenly someone comes from behind him and puts a black bag on his head and kidnaps him. In the events of the film, it appears that Ali is with another group, and they are dressed as American prisoners. Ali is taken to one of the dangerous and aggravated prisons in Cuba, after being tortured in the most brutal way. Ali and the rest of the prisoners are placed in small iron cages and are watched by the soldiers. 8 years later, we see an American soldier named Amy Cole. She left her family and friends to volunteer and serve her country. Then, she watches all the prisoners protesting their imprisonment and torture. The officer explains to Cole and the others about the prison's monitoring system. Since each soldier has to watch the prisoners for 12 hours, after which his shift ends. The officer also explains to them exactly what their job is. He tells them that they must stop the prisoners from killing themselves. He tells them that it is not necessary for them to prevent the prisoners from escaping because there are high fortified walls and it is impossible to escape from them. He tells them that surveillance is difficult and that it is like a confrontation between a prisoner and a soldier. One of the soldiers asks how to transport the prisoners. The officer tells them that prisoners have rights, but those in prison do not have any rights. He asks them to treat them violently and ferociously. The officer shows the important places in the prison to the soldiers, such as the control room, the special command room, the weapons room, and the last room is the soldiers' rest room. Then the new soldiers are prepared to go to a prisoner. The officer tells them that each one of them must control a certain part of the prisoner's body because this prisoner is dangerous and troublesome. This prisoner is called Haji and all the prisoners respect his word. Cole's job was to stabilize Haji's right hand. They go to this prisoner, and when they enter the cell, she gets confused and doesn't know what to do. She is trying to control his right hand, but she lets go of her hand and the prisoner hits her. But the soldiers were able to control the prisoner. When the prisoner comes out, he spits on her. The prisoner is transferred to another place. After completing her first mission, she gets on the bus and notices that most of the soldiers with her are laughing at what happened to her, where she was beaten on her first day. When she gets to the sleeping area, she calls her mother and she tells her about her first day at work. Her mother is trying to convince her to enter into a relationship with one of her colleagues at work, but she refuses. The next day, her mission was to give books to prisoners. Then she reaches the prisoner who beat her earlier. She asks him if he wants to take a book, but the prisoner was nervous and kept cursing her. One of the soldiers intervenes and asks the prisoner to calm down. The soldier gives the book to the prisoner, as the prisoner refuses to take the book from a girl. Then she completes her mission of distributing books. Then she reaches the prisoner in cell No. 471. He is the Iraqi prisoner, Ali Amir. Ali asks her to give him Harry Potter Book 7. She finds the book and gives it to him, but he tells her that it is not the same book and that this is the 6th part of the book. She keeps searching but can't find the book. He tells her that for 2 years he has been asking for this book to be brought to him, but no one fulfills his request. Then he asks to give him another book, but one of the soldiers comes to Cole and tells her that the time is up. So she gives him a random book and leaves. The next day she had a guard duty at the place where Ali was. Ali tries to talk to her, but she ignores him. Then she tells him that there is nothing in common between them to talk about. Ali tries to ask her and provoke her. She gets angry and asks him to shut up, but he asks her to bring him water, and then he shuts up. He takes water from her, and then throws rubbish on her. The initial response squad is called, and it is a group that is summoned if there is a riot and danger in the prison. They spray tear gas on Ali. Then she washes her clothes. Her manager asks her to take a break, but she refuses. She learned through one of the soldiers that the punishment imposed on Ali was that he would be transferred every 2 hours to a new cell. This punishment is a form of psychological torture. After she finishes her shift, she goes with her colleagues to spend time at sea. Then the next day she goes to her shift. She notices that Ali is a skilled painter. Minutes later, she watches Ali being transferred to another cell. He is very tired from the lack of sleep because they transfer him every 2 hours to a new cell. She feels pity for him. Then she reviews his file. She watches pictures of him being tortured in the worst way. She notes that Ali is one of the most visited prisoners by psychiatrists because of his tired mental state. When it was her shift, she watched Ali draw on a piece of paper. He tells her that he finished reading all the books in prison and he decided to invent a card game to pass some time. He asks her about the reason for her bad treatment of him. Although his words are nice to her, unlike the rest of the prisoners, he tells her that Americans are trying to make themselves look good, but they are bad. She asks him to shut up and tells him that she searched for the book he asked for, but she did not find it. When he finds out, he apologizes to her for the way he spoke to her in the previous period. After 8 months have passed since Cole was in prison. Suddenly, the prisoners refrain from eating and drinking because they want a fitness machine. The prison warden agrees to this, but on the condition that it is forbidden for any prisoner to use it, and this is considered a form of psychological torture. After a while we see Ali playing football. She starts talking to him and tells him that all obedient prisoners are allowed to play in one place. He tells her that he knows that, but he hates to obey another person. She tells him that if he becomes an obedient prisoner, the warden will allow him to play with other prisoners. One of the officers watches Cole talking to Ali. He calls her and tells her that she is not allowed to talk to any prisoner. The officer forces Ali to take a shower in front of Cole. She is filing a report with the officer and complaining about him because he forced Ali to take a shower in front of her, and this is something that violates the laws. When the warden learns of this, he asks Cole if she has any feelings for the prisoners. He tells her that the report will be submitted next month. She also learned that one of the soldiers tried to kill himself because of the difficulty of the job. One of the soldiers tells Cole that the prisoners were the cause of the September 11th incident. She tells him that this is wrong because the people who did it died inside the planes, and the mastermind behind this operation is dead. But the soldiers kept insisting that the prisoners were the cause. She discovers that she has been transferred to the night shift, and this thing is a punishment for her because of her conversation with the prisoners. Days passed and Ali was waiting to see Cole, not knowing that her shift had been moved to the night. At night Cole comes and Ali is asleep, but he senses someone's presence. He gets up and watches Cole. He tries to talk to her but she asks him to sleep, but he tells her that he can't sleep because of the light. She discovers that the soldiers do not turn off the lights, and this makes the prisoners sleep with difficulty. He tells her that no one believes him when he tells him that he is not a terrorist and does not belong to any terrorist group. He tells her that he lives in Germany and he asks her if she has traveled to Germany. She tells him that she has never traveled to any country in her life. She tells him that this is the first time she left America to serve her country. She says a German word, but she doesn't know what it means. They laugh together. He tells her that every year in August they change the guards. He tells her that soon she will be replaced by new guards. She is surprised because Ali knows all this information in prison. She only has 1 month left to leave. He asks her what she will do after her duty is done. She tells him that she will travel to the countries of the world and will go to Germany. He tells her that he does not like the idea of changing the guards because the new guards will treat the prisoners like animals. He asks her about what she learned during her prison service. She did not know what to answer because she saw the brutality and abuse with which the soldiers dealt with the prisoners. She discovers that Ali is trying to kill himself, and she is surprised by this. He begs her not to tell anyone about it. He takes out a bottle found in the Quran in order to kill himself. She begs him not to kill himself. He tells her that when he was arrested and during the investigations, one of the soldiers knew that he was innocent and did nothing, and that the soldier tried to get him out, but one of the people prevented him. Then the soldier went to Ali and told him that he could not get him out of prison, and that if he got him out of prison, no place in the world would accept him because he was in a prison of bad reputation. He confesses his love for her even though he knows their relationship is failing. She decides to tell Ali by her name, and she lives in Florida, and she also loves Ali. She tells him that she is just a soldier and has no power to get him out of prison. She takes her breath and extends her hand inside the cell to take the bottle from Ali. She is holding Ali's hand to make him feel that she loves him. August is coming, which is when Cole ends his prison service. She takes her belongings to go back to her country. We see a new soldier who comes instead of Cole and distributes books. Ali finds out that there is a Harry Potter book part 7 in there. He takes the book and sees a message from Cole, where she sent the book to him. He starts reading the book enthusiastically. We see Cole on the bus crying after learning that she will not be able to help Ali. She took one of the drawings Ali was drawing. She is moving to a new place and a new mission, while Ali remained in prison under harsh treatment. If you want interesting movie recaps like these, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.